What's up, everybody? Good evening. I usually don't post videos this late, but we usually don't get breaking news about well, not really breaking news at this point, but we usually don't have significant news about a Seattle sports team this late. And I wasn't able to make a video about this earlier, and I wanted to focus on the Seahawks stuff because it's the last week of the season. But I want to go ahead and cut a video about the stuff the Mariners did today because it's pretty significant and pretty substantial, and it definitely is worth breaking down a little bit because we now have a little bit of a better idea of what this team is going to look like in the 2024 season. So, two trades, and neither trade really overextended the Mariners financially. So, both trades are, I think, probably going to make the team better than they were yesterday, and they're also going to leave the door open to continue to get better, which I definitely think we need to do. So let me talk about the trades real quick here. First one on screen from Jeff Passan on Twitter or X. The Giants and the Mariners made a trade. We sent Robbie Ray to the Giants, and we got back our old buddy Mitch Haniger and a right-handed pitcher, Anthony DeScalfani, who's going to be really fun to pronounce when the season starts. I'll figure it out by then, maybe. You guys know me in pronunciations. But yeah, this trade, I don't know if it's going to work out in our favor. Obviously, Robbie Ray we knew was going to miss a decent chunk of the 2024 season. So we are swapping out a player who was not going to play that much in 2024 for players who have a good chance to play a lot in 2024. One of those players is Mitch Haniger, who, I mean, we like him around here, of course, but at the same time, there's a reason why the Giants were eager to get rid of him. In fact, I believe in this trade, the Giants actually sent the Mariners like $6 million as well. So they were very eager to get off of the Haniger deal because he can't stay healthy either. He did not really do much for them last year. He has an extended history of missing a lot of time over the course of a Major League Baseball season. And I don't know if we can expect that to change. I don't know if we can expect that to get any better, especially when he comes back to Seattle and has to play with the Marine layer and all the other things that hitters have to deal with when they play half their games in Seattle. So, that being said, I do think this trade probably makes us better. I do think this trade pushes us in the right direction. We needed outfielders, and Haniger is certainly an outfielder. Now, how much can we lean on Haniger to play in the outfield? I don't know. Obviously, we already have a DH because of Garver, but Haniger is going to need to do some of that. We are going to need Haniger to play some DH if he's going to get through the season reasonably healthy. Obviously, we're not going to expect him to play every game, but if we want him to play most of the games, we are going to need to keep him out of the outfield a little bit. So that creates a little bit of a log jam, but we can probably make this work in part because of this second trade, which we're going to get into in a second. So I'm good with that. Robbie Ray was clearly not part of the long-term plans here. We have enough really good starting pitchers to afford to lose a Robbie Ray, and there still exists the possibility of us signing another pitcher, which I'll get into in a minute here. I don't know very much about Anthony DeScalfani, but my understanding is that he's at least intriguing, somebody who can play. He's not just some single A prospect who will probably never see the majors or anything like that. This is a guy who can play. I'm not necessarily expecting a ton from him. I would expect him to probably come out of the bullpen. Again, I need to look into him a little bit more, but I think this trade is fine. No real objection here. Just, I'm very aware of the fact that Mitch Haniger struggles to stay healthy. Now, this second trade, on the other hand, is a winner. This second trade is money. Luke Raley comes from Tampa Bay, and Jose Caballero goes to the Rays from the Mariners. So it's a 1-for-1, absolute money here. Cabby was a fun player that I liked having around, but the second half of the year, his bat went to sleep, and it was so bad at the plate. Everything else he did, which was good, like the stuff he did in the field, the stuff he did on the base paths, the stuff he did to frustrate opposing pitchers, just wasn't really worth it. So he was a fun player. He had his moments, but he had to go at the end of the day. And Luke Raley was a nice piece for that Tampa Bay team last year. He can play in the outfield, which is obviously what we need right now. We need guys who can play in the outfield, especially with Haniger being one of the guys we have out there. We probably need like 4 or 5 guys that we can rely on because we know that Haniger is probably not going to make it through the full season. So Raley can help us with that a lot. I think this is a great trade. This is something that actually kind of gets me excited for this next season. Now, by itself, is it going to make a huge difference? No. I still don't think we're better offensively than we were even last season. Like last season, the offense wasn't very good, but it was probably still better than this. We've still got Arias starting at third base when, as much as Suarez wasn't great last year, at least he kind of got the job done. I don't know if your Arias is going to be able to do it even on that level. And you've still got some question marks with like, how much are you going to be leaning on a guy like Canzone? How much are you going to be leaning on your second base rotation now? But this helps. So this is a great trade. I like this one a lot. I think this one is going to help. At the very least, I can say that Cabby, he just, there was some things about him that were great, like I said, but that there wasn't enough substance there to make it really worth giving him a lot of at bats, a lot of playing time. It's not like he was stellar defensively or anything like that. So yeah, I think this one's a winner. I think this one is solid. And the one thing about Cabby is he was pretty good at working pitch counts. That's not going to be as big of a deal now because we got rid of so many of our strikeout machines. Hopefully we'll be able to control the zone, as they say, even without a guy like Cabby in the lineup. So these trades that we've made really have not done much to change our payroll. I think our payroll is like 121 million right now. So we should still have at least $15 million to spend. So a couple different approaches here. And the best one is probably to sign somebody like a Blake Snell. And I know Blake Snell wouldn't be perfect for the way we do things around here, but he's already said he's willing to take a discount to play in Seattle. And he's obviously a very good pitcher in some areas. He's you know, he's the furthest thing from a bad pitcher out there. And you then have the ability to trade Wu and or Miller to acquire bats. That's probably the best path forward here. That's your best bet to actually acquire a good bat. Like we could trade for a Rosarina from Tampa Bay. There are a couple other guys out there that could be probably traded for. That's probably the best path forward. Or you could just go out and spend money on a bat, but it's proven that's hard. Hitters don't want to play in T-Mobile because it's hard to hit here. It's hard to hit home runs here, especially. So there's still money kicking around. We actually saved a good amount of money in the Robbie Ray trade. I think we actually saved more money than we took on here. I think this actually represented a salary dump, and we may have gotten a guy who helps us more in the short term than Robbie Ray would have. So it's, if you look at the trade like that, it's pretty great. And then you have this trade, which I think financially is a pretty insignificant splash. So we still got some moves to make, and if we make them and get our payroll up to beyond what it was in 2023, and we maybe make it some kind of a splash trade with the extra pitchers we have, this team can be good in 2024 and at the very least indicate they're headed in the right direction. So I like these trades. There's still more work to be done. So let's see what they got up their sleeve next. See you guys later. Go Mariners.